Hey everyone, it's me, Desiree Marie. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you. Today I want to talk about what really happens when you apple cider vinegar, or what we like to say ACV, your hair. We see so many people doing the apple cider vinegar rinse. There's so many ways that people do it. A lot of people like to do different things, mix it up and add in essential oils, baking soda, and what have you. But I want to talk about what happens scientifically with your hair. I did a lot of research and I am really excited to share this with you because I really have not heard much of this type of commentary concerning the ACV rinse. We kind of just do it and figure it out as we go, and okay, our hair feels good, so it's good, it works good. But a lot of us don't know the actual science behind it and why it really does work. So I want to dig in and share a lot of the information that I found so that it will help you to really solidify your ACV rinses and cause it to work really well for you. So let's start off with what is apple cider vinegar consisted of. So apple cider vinegar, the raw and unfiltered ACV, is when apples are fermented when combining apples with yeast. And then yeast becomes sugar, which then becomes alcohol, and then becomes acetic acid. Even though there has been no evidence that apple cider vinegar has any vitamins or minerals or anything that actually consists of something nutritional for us, it does have two main benefits that so many of us enjoy and love. Number one, it consists of acidic acid, and number two, it has a low pH. These two benefits combined help when they are introduced to hair. It helps to balance out the pH of hair. Apple cider vinegar is also popular because it is a pure acid with extreme antibacterial and antifungal properties, which then cleanses the scalp or whatever it touches and leaves the surface clean, free from debris, free from dirt, and any type of buildup that was previously on that particular surface. So in essence, apple cider vinegar, number one, gets rid of mineral deposits that are left because of the hard water that we may have used while washing our hair. Number two, it cleanses the scalp by eating away from dirt particles without disturbing the scalp and its acidic environment. And it also kills bacteria by penetrating the cell's membrane, causing it to release protons and eventually die. What I found to be very interesting about apple cider vinegar is that it causes the hair cuticles to tighten and the holes inside of the hair cuticles to close up. I wonder if that is actually something that people with, say, high porosity hair can benefit from, because people with high hair porosity are those that cannot retain moisture, and once they moisturize their hair, it's back to being dry all over again. And this type of hair porosity has a lot of holes in them, and that is the reason why they cannot retain moisture, because every time moisture touches their strands, it's easily leaked right through. I think that the apple cider vinegar may be something to help tighten up those hair strands and really keep the hair strong in a position that it retains moisture. But it's also said that when we use certain products, our hair strands open up. When we don't go ahead and seal our strands again, our hair strands are left wide open. And that is why apple cider vinegar is really good, especially when you do a lot of products, you use a lot of products in your hair, you use a lot of stuff, and your hair is basically weighed down. Apple cider vinegar comes in, cleanses the scalp, lifts the debris, and equals out the scalp pH. So I also did a little bit more research in finding out what are the measurements I need to be using when doing this ACV rinse. This time I didn't do it where I was just soaking my locks in a tub of water, but I ended up putting apple cider vinegar and distilled water into a bottle. I realized that my portions have been all jacked up. I've been using so much apple cider vinegar in the portions. My hand has been so heavy, and that is probably the reason why I have not been successful with the apple cider with the apple cider vinegar rinses this far. So I did some research and found the exact measurements that you can use if you want to go ahead and put it in a water bottle, in a spritz bottle, in a small bottle to rinse the scalp. So if you're using 7 ounces of water, you want to go ahead and use 1 ounce of apple cider vinegar. This helps to maintain the right pH because you really don't want to go too far off on the spectrum. This keeps the mixture at a good balance where when you introduce it to your hair then responds by leveling out in the right pH with the right balance. However, if you are using 8 ounces of water, you want to go ahead and use 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Of course, we should not use apple cider vinegar all the time. It's not something that you do every single week, every time you wash your hair, but you want to limit it to a few times a year. So I heard a lot about using distilled water, and I was wondering, why do we have to use distilled water when doing the solution? Can't I just use something from the tap, you know, do something real quick? But I also learned that distilled water is free from minerals and any type of additives, so you get the exact purest type of water to really balance out the pH the right way. Because when you use hard water, what you end up doing is you bring in minerals which are connected to that hard water, and the mixture doesn't really have the same effective nature that it would if you use everything in its most pure state and apply it to your hair. So I have to do a lot more research concerning whether or not I have hard water, because I do live in Connecticut, and so I think that may play a part in the type of water that I am washing my hair with. And I really want to also kind of level that out and find a good way to keep my hair at a good state when washing my hair, because I have to use the shower, right? So I just want to level it out in the healthiest way possible. So whenever I apple cider vinegared my hair, I would always soak it in the sink. That's what a lot of us know. All of us that have locks, we pretty much do the same thing as far as apple cider vinegar rinses. We dunk our head in a sink. It's uncomfortable, but when we get up, our hair feels different. The first thing that I noticed when I do the apple cider vinegar rinse is that my hair feels really dry afterward, and that is very normal because of the fact that the apple cider vinegar strips your hair. Like, in nature, it is to strip your hair and really clarify it and really get into the dirt and the buildup and the residue to leave you with clean hair. So, you know, you're using something that is actually stripping your hair. You don't expect it to leave your hair moisturized. So what you want to do after using the apple cider vinegar rinse, you want to go ahead and use a moisturizing shampoo on top of that. But of course, if you are just spraying your scalp, say after a hard workout, or you just feel a little bit of buildup on your scalp, you don't really have to follow up with a whole washing routine. Just maintain the moisture in your hair by consistently doing what you're doing as far as your moisture routine. Just don't overdo it, of course, because that also leads to a buildup on your scalp, which you don't really want. The second thing that I realized when I did the apple cider vinegar rinse is that my hair felt so much lighter. Like, I get up and it's like, wow, like my hair feels so light, so bouncy, like it's amazing. And didn't realize that my hair was so loaded down until I got out the apple cider vinegar rinse to see how, wow, like I feel so much more relieved. Didn't know that I was loaded down with all of that gunk that came out of my locks. So my hair feels so much more lighter and more free, and that is also normal because of the fact that the apple cider vinegar does a really good job in taking everything out of your hair that was there before. It's snatching it, okay? It does a really good job in clarifying. So that I can say about the apple cider vinegar rinse. Another thing that I realized was that it probably is not the best thing to use if you have color treated hair. Now let me explain myself. In the beginning of this year, I colored my hair jet black. Like, it was black. You couldn't see any type of, you know, brown peeking through. My hair is a natural ashy brown color, which you could probably see right now, depending on the lighting. And I have naturally ashy brown hair, and I really wanted dark hair. I wanted it jet black. I did not want to see any type of brown. I just wanted straight black hair. Months later, I did the apple cider vinegar soak, which was the worst thing I could do, because after that I started to see that my hair began to lighten again and revert back to the ashy brown color that I now have. So now there is absolutely no trace of hair dye in my hair. That's also a good thing. At least I know that my hair is clean, but I kind of wanted to keep the hair color in my hair. So just a word of advice to you, if you have color treated hair, like you have red hair, burgundy, you know, you have a color in your hair, you probably don't want the apple cider vinegar rinse. You probably don't want to do this, because it will strip your hair. It will strip your hair of its color and revert your hair back to your previous color, or it just will kind of dry out the color and the color won't be as vibrant. So yeah. Also, if you have a sensitivity to apple cider vinegar, or you just have a sensitive scalp, I probably would not recommend doing the apple cider vinegar rinse. The very first time that I did this on my hair, I did the wrong thing. First of all, I used way too much apple cider vinegar. The whole setup was a mess. I put a basin in the kitchen, and I was laying on the floor and soaking my locks on top of a bunch of, you know, towels to keep the floor dry. And I soaked my scalp, like I made sure to get my scalp, but I used so much apple cider vinegar that my scalp started to feel like it was burning. So if you have a sensitive scalp and you have a sensitivity to apple cider vinegar, try to steer clear from apple cider vinegar or dilute it a whole lot. Unlike me, I didn't dilute it. I pretty much just like put like maybe a quarter of the basin with apple cider vinegar and the rest of it with water. I didn't do the right thing. I didn't use my measurements the right way. So number one, get your measurements right. And number two, steer clear of apple cider vinegar if you have sensitive scalp. And number three, try to dilute the solution so it's not as potent onto your hair. That leads me to the next point. Never put apple cider vinegar straight from the bottle to your scalp. That is another way that you can surely burn your scalp and cause inflammation. You don't want any of that. So always dilute your solution with the proper measurements. You know, don't make the wrong mistake that a lot of us make in just pouring it and kind of eyeballing the solution and measurements. You want to make sure that you're making the right decision so you don't end up with issues that you then have to go ahead and re-follow up and fix at the end of all of that. So like I said, apple cider vinegar has so many benefits, so I highly encourage you all, if you have not done the apple cider vinegar soak or the apple cider, sis, get it together. If you have not done the apple cider vinegar soak or the rinse, I encourage you to do it because there's so many benefits. I'm just gonna read some off my paper. All right. Number one, it gets rid of the gunk out of your locks. Number two, it exfoliates your scalp, leaving it fresh and just feeling so good. It calms the scalp from inflammation. So if you're having a lot of problems with inflammation, or you just need something to soothe and calm down your scalp, apple cider vinegar is great for that. It encourages hair growth, which is something we all want, right? It reduces frizz because it smooths the shaft of the hair. So like I said, if you have a lot of holes in your hair is very porous and it does not retain moisture, apple cider vinegar will help to smooth the shaft of the hair strand and help you to maintain moisture, which is awesome. But of course, right after the apple cider vinegar, you have to follow up with that because the mixture itself will strip your hair dry. believe me. And it leaves your hair feeling lighter and more refreshed and well balanced. So if you feel like you've been using a lot of different products in your hair and you just need a reset, apple cider vinegar is really good to introduce to your hair routine. Of course, you don't want to overdo it, but you do want to introduce it at some point in your lock routine, in your lock journey. Okay, so that's it. That is the scientific kind of lesson that I wanted to share with you all. I found that to be so interesting, as I'm learning as well about the science behind hair and why it does the things that it does. So I hope that you found this video very informational and interesting. Let us know down below how you have enjoyed apple cider vinegar, whether you have rinsed your hair with it or soaked your hair in it. What has been your experience with apple cider vinegar? Please let us know down below. But thank you for watching this video. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe to this channel because I have so much more content just waiting for you. I upload almost each and every day, so you're guaranteed something new in your notifications. Thank you for watching this video. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.